10 Minutes to Joy is your weekly invitation to reset, recharge, and rediscover your most joyful self through aha moments and simple energy techniques. You're listening to holistic psychotherapist Sylvia Plester-Silk. I've worked with individuals, couples, and groups. From parole officer to private practice, I've learned many lessons, and I'm ready to share. A theme that has been coming up recently with my clients are energy vampires. These are individuals often diagnosed or undiagnosed with narcissistic behaviors. These are the people that have a strong need from outside themselves to fuel themselves. It's like they don't have enough energy to keep themselves afloat. And so they feed off of the energetic responses from other people. Often we find that they're very manipulative, very critical of you. And one of the most enticing types of personalities or people that they love to connect to are empaths. Why empaths? Well, empaths are those hyper caring people that actually have a tendency to take on other people's energy. Often, without realizing it, will have holes in their energy field that allows energetic leaks out. So what do you do when you got an empath and an energy vampire? You've got to be really careful as an empath to stay in touch with what you really want and what you really desire. As you work with, the vampire, their job is to keep you off center so that you keep giving to them. One client this week talked about how she feels like she should try and be a nicer person and try to be even more accommodating. The challenge with that is the more accommodating you are to a narcissist, and I'm talking about true narcissists, not the overused wording that tends to happen these days, is that you really want to be in touch with your own self. An empath will often be, well, how is that impacting them? How are they feeling? And what can I do to make that even better? And when you go as an empath, when you go into their world and you start to think from their perspective, often you will find yourself being really self-critical, that you should have done something different. You should have said it differently. Are you being unkind, uncharitable? And what's happening is your boundaries are being eroded away, possibly being completely negated by the other person. Your needs don't even exist to the other person. It's more for them. How can they get what they need in a consistent basis? The manipulative behavior that comes in trying to feed themselves from this deep-centered need, and it's often because they have entities that are feeding off of them. However, you as an empath need to make sure that you're very, very grounded. And this goes for anybody, even if you don't identify as an empath. If you have somebody that's highly manipulative and feeding off your energy, you want to make sure that you're very well grounded. You want to protect your energy, so drawing a force field of energy around you, making sure that there's no holes or blocks in so as you're visualizing filling up your energy, making sure that you see it going completely around your body without any holes in it and going 360 degrees around your body. You want to really be centered in what's okay for you. What are you willing to give and what are you willing to not give? What do you actually truly want and not want? So, for example, you may not even actually want to be around that person who's narcissistic, and it's okay. You can choose to set that boundary. You can choose how you want to interact. Perhaps you don't want them in your home. Maybe it's okay to go out for a coffee or go to the park with them and their children so that you get time with the kids. But it's really needing to be from your perspective. Because of the boundary violations, you can find that you've done this step to support them and help them in this and this one and this one, but they're criticizing you and making you feel all they're doing is taking and you're giving, and the more you give, the more they take, and the more ungrateful often they are or manipulative they are. And so then you end up, it's in this crazy making place of trying to figure out how did they get upset? How did they get that perspective? And the moment that you shift into trying to make sense out of their brain, you lose power because oftentimes it's from a very highly needy kind of energy. It's not coming from a balanced place like another friend who you said something unfortunate to, and they're just assertively letting you know how that impacted them. Often, narcissists can't even be placated or made happy because they manipulate and twist things. They do things like borrow somebody else's phone and text as if it's coming from that person. And so then you're crazy making going, I didn't realize that person, somebody else, maybe their spouse, had an issue with me. And then suddenly, energetically, it's like, I don't know if they actually, the person that I care about actually wrote that, or if the narcissist or the energy vampire wrote that and is just trying to make it appear that other people are on their side and that you're wrong. So, this barrage of sort of, if you will, crazy making behaviors, statements, criticisms can really get you tied up in questioning whether what you said, what you did was legitimate. Was it kind? Okay. So oftentimes one of the challenges is they're in your family. And so as a family member, or they marry into your family, you get to make choices whether you're with them or not with them. You get to, let's say they marry in. If you only want to be with your actual family member and not them, you can make invitations for that to happen. There may be pushback. I have seen family systems where the narcissistic behavior has caused cracks in the system where people feel that they have to make choice between them and the other person, which is a really unhealthy behavior when we're picking up camps and trying to get somebody else on our side because they did this and playing victim, which is often how narcissistics pick up energy because they look often like they're very loving, kind, generous people, but they have this highly manipulative side that's often saved for people that are more close to them in their lives. So, if you are an empath, one, get grounded. Two, protect your energy. Three, allow yourself to feel how you really feel about what's going on. Four, ask yourself if you had said what you said to someone else that didn't have narcissistic behaviors, wasn't a vampire, how might they have responded? Would they have gotten their nose out of joint? Probably not. They probably would have realized that something had come up for you and you were communicating openly. They would probably listen to you versus criticize or negate or say why it is the way it is from their distorted perspective. It takes time. So sitting down and journaling and writing out when this happened, I felt when, and then I responded. Because we can also, when we're knocked off center and we're not grounded, we can say and do things in a manner which we would prefer not to. So perhaps we're being really sarcastic. Perhaps we're coming across as very angry, or perhaps we're coming across a little bit patronizing. Okay. When you get grounded within yourself and you're feeling your personal power, then you can make choice about what you say and what you do. Because when we're in choice from a grounded perspective, then we can, based on ourselves and our own boundaries, not from the manipulative, distorted reality of this other person, but from our own grounded selves, we can make decisions and make choices and ensure that we are being the person we truly desire to be in the way that we are communicating. So what they're thinking, the manipulative person is thinking, don't even try and go in their head and try and make it rational or make it make sense. That is when you get pulled off center, because it gets so confusing that you can't determine what you need to do. So instead of taking it from their perspective forward, come into your own perspective, do some heavy self-reflection on what you feel, what you think, and what you're okay with. And if you stepped outside of your behavior that you're comfortable with, you can choose to make amends, or going forward, simply change your behavior and coming from that incredibly grounded place so that you can be peaceful even when there's somebody in your world that is trying to invoke crazy making things. That's all for today, folks. Remember, your emotional freedom isn't found in controlling everything around you, but in releasing what no longer serves you. Each breath is an invitation to let go and embrace your most authentic self. Have a great week.